Strangers from distant lands, friends of old. Following our last couple of episodes that focused on Sauron's footprints, today we are ready for a major theory. We will prove that Sauron had Mithril with him throughout the first season, and he is about to use it for the forging of the One Ring. It will also explain some of his ambiguous actions so far and reveal his plans beyond season 1. We have broken the presentation of evidence into a few chunks to study them one by one. Let's start. The first piece of evidence is related to a legend, the Song of the Roots of Hithaglir.
Are you familiar with the Song of the Roots of Hithaglir?
An obscure legend, regarded by most to be apocryphal.
Recount it, Elrond Peredel.
During Gil-galad's conversation with Elrond, they discussed this obscure legend of an elven warrior fighting a Balrog, resulting in the creation of Mithril during their duel.
On one side fought an elven warrior, with a heart as pure as Manwë, poured all his light into the tree to protect it. On the other, a Balrog of Morgoth channeled all his hatred into the tree to destroy it. Amidst their duel, unending, lightning ensnared the tree. Forging of their conflict, a power.
Elrond uses the word apocryphal, a rather strange word to describe the legend. Given its definition of a story or a statement of doubtful authenticity, although widely circulated as being true, it is unlikely that Sauron would not have heard this before as well. Considering his fixation on experimenting with rare materials and items, it is quite likely that he devoted some of his effort to delve into the truth of the legend and, if possible, obtain Mithril. In relation to the first evidence, one obvious missing link is how Sauron would have obtained a piece of Mithril. We are told that it is only mined in Moria in the TV series. He could not have been in direct alliance with King Durin, that is Durin III, who is categorically against the mining of Mithril, so Sauron needed some spies in Moria, who could have supplied him with a small quantity. And if he sees potential in Mithril for his experiments, he would require much more for mass production. Therefore, such a spy would not only be good at disguise and stealing a small quantity, but also be high-ranking enough to affect the dwarven decision-making to mass-produce Mithril. We think that this character is Disa. She is quite ambitious, married Durin IV as an outside candidate, and very eager to continue the Mithril mining despite Durin III's caution. We have made a dedicated video that details Disa being a spy of Sauron, analyzing her demeanor in the series. So if you have not done already, please check it out. Next, we have a character analysis. After the reveal of Halbrand being Sauron, many of us have revisited his scenes from the first season to reflect on some minor mannerisms. One immediate character trait that emerges from such scenes is his honesty, or rather him not telling blatant lies. Although there are many examples to this, let's inspect a few of them. Sauron told Galadriel that to him, it was not the elves but the orcs that drove him away from his home. If we take this at face value, it fits his human disguise that he would be driven away by the orcs from a human village. But Adar tells the story of him splitting Sauron open, effectively ousting him from his home at Forodvaith. So Sauron is telling the truth. Another one was when he was talking to Galadriel in Numenor, saying,
"You're wrong. You don't know what I did before I ended up on that raft. You don't know how I survived. I'm sorry. To your brother. For all of it. I'm sorry."
This sentence Galadriel evaluates as a minor guilt coming from a human, but she could not be more wrong. Sauron is definitely the Lord of the Lies. Following this, we come to a critical giveaway due to his honesty.
These gemstones. I've never seen anything like them. What do you plan to use them for?
Middle Earth.
This is a peculiar ore. What is it?
Not enough.
Enough for what?
Please.
Have you tried combining it with other ores to better stretch it out?
That wouldn't be suitable for this ore.
Why not?
Because in the amounts we need, it would too greatly dilute its unique qualities.
Forgive me, but at the risk of sounding a fool, couldn't the right alloy also amplify those qualities?
Did you notice it as well? Sauron says that he has never seen these gemstones, but says this item, Mithril, is just rather peculiar. It should be at the top of the list of things he has not seen before, but he casually continues to give the suggestion to Celebrimbor on how to use it, by alloying. The fourth point is the evidence that he was experimenting with Mithril in Numenor. We have already prepared a dedicated video, which we invite you to check out, that presents matching evidence for his deeds in Numenor. In a nutshell, there is a direct similarity between the debris after the Mithril experiment by Celebrimbor failed in Eregion and the dust Sauron was sweeping off the floor in Numenor. It is a sign that Sauron was experimenting with Mithril in Numenor's forges, and he had some unfinished business there, before reluctantly joining Galadriel on the excursion to Middle-earth. Finally, having Mithril is not enough, but one requires the knowledge on how to use it during the forging. There has been an interesting scene in episode 8 where Galadriel inadvertently helps Sauron.
Perhaps that is enough for today. Perhaps we've been pushing ourselves too hard.
Pushing ourselves too hard. Supposing that's the trouble. Supposing we've been using too much force.
Meaning what?
Meaning that the metals shouldn't be forced to join, but more drawn or coaxed together. Now, if that's true, we've been doing it all inside out. Quickly, dismantle this. We start again.
Here, Sauron has a eureka moment. This seems to really give Sauron the last piece of the puzzle, as he not only has Mithril, but also discovered how to use it. It is again tragic for Galadriel to help Sauron out unknowingly. We have obtained multiple evidence that cross-support each other, pointing to the fact that, by the end of Season 1 of the Rings of Power, Sauron not only has Mithril, but also has the skill to forge it into a powerful item, in the form of the One Ring. This also ties well with what Sauron told the characters he interacted with, as well as the accounts by others, such as Adar, that he is after a power of the unseen world and he committed himself to experiments to accomplish it. Moreover, it explains why he was so hesitant to get his hands on a forge in Numenor and sweet-talked Celebrimbor to take on the forging of the Rings of Power. The only thing remaining as an open question is where he has been keeping this Mithril nugget. Where could be the one place that is always with him, yet away from suspicious eyes, perhaps eclipsed by a more obvious item? The only thing that fits the bill is the pouch he carries with him. We have been blinded by the sigil he carries throughout the season. How Halbrand could have been the heir to a lost line of kings, which was a ruse. In summary, our proposed theory suggests that Sauron has been carrying Mithril, which is backed up by several pieces of evidence. The pouch, which has been in front of eyes most of the time, has this Mithril nugget in it. Sauron's time in Eregion helped him discover the right way to use the Mithril for a successful alloy. He now has the skill, the material, and the technique to forge an item of grand power, eventually the One Ring. Sauron having Mithril with him throughout the first season has many consequences, and it is only the beginning of his plans being put forth. Until next time, Namarie.